O.J. Howard's fifth-year option. Let's talk about this. This move makes a lot of sense to me, okay? And I know that the opinions on O.J. Howard are pretty split. You have some people who say, this guy's phenomenal, this guy has all the potential, this guy has all the upside, he is basically an athletic receiving freak at the tight end position. They should keep him long term. And then you have the other side of the argument that says, this guy has not lived up to first round expectations. He hasn't been doing good. Last season was not the year that a lot of people thought it should be. Why did they make this move? And I understand that some people feel that, yes, O.J. Howard has not lived up to his 19th overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft expectations. I agree with that. I do think that he has been a good tight end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just out of sheer receiving yards per catch, and just in terms of his overall athletic receiving ability. He's been really good, but the numbers haven't necessarily been there. They haven't been terrible, but they haven't been 19th overall pick type of numbers, okay? So that's kind of where I understand people's side of the argument. Just kind of talking about it, there have been loads of reports of O.J. Howard. Some people have reported that he isn't happy with the current situation for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which I don't understand that at all, given the current landscape of the team. So that one, I don't really know if I believe, but, who knows? Who really knows at the end of the day? But looking a little bit deeper in terms of trade talks have been surrounding O.J. Howard for years now, for the past 2 years, during draft time, during the offseason, during the trade deadline. It's been everywhere, okay? People have been talking about trading O.J. Howard for 2 years now. The coaching staff, while they haven't been overly negative talking about O.J. Howard, they haven't been overly positive either. Now, Jason Light, on the other hand, he has been more positive for O.J. Howard, which kind of leads me to believe that this move makes a lot of sense, but in terms of listening to Bruce Arians and his, thoughts and, quotes on O.J. Howard, it definitely feels like Bruce Arians feels that O.J. Howard needs to work on his confidence, and the opportunities will come once he's able to earn the trust of his quarterback and build up on that confidence, just to paraphrase the general stuff that Bruce Arians has said about O.J. Howard. But that's kind of where we were at. And then after the NFL draft, where a lot of people thought that O.J. Howard was 100% going to get traded, I even thought it could have happened to a certain degree. It didn't happen, and the Buccaneers were quick to pick up his fifth-year option, and he is now under contract, not just for this upcoming season, but for the next season as well. And this makes a lot of sense to me. The first reason it makes a lot of sense, it's one of Jason Light's guys, and I've talked about this a lot before. Jason Light is going to take care of the guys that he has drafted, okay? Especially first-round draft picks. Now, he hasn't been perfect, and one of the arguments I've made in the past against trading O.J. Howard is he doesn't want to admit that he has been wrong on half of his first-round draft picks if he doesn't have to, but obviously Jameis Winston, Vernon Hargreaves, those guys aren't on the team anymore. If you would have added O.J. Howard to that list, he would have missed on half of his first-round draft picks. That's not a good look for a GM. So this being one of Jason Light's first-round guys, yeah, it makes a little bit of sense that Jason Light's going to try and keep him as long as he possibly can. But looking a little bit further than that, I want to talk about life post Gronkowski right now. Now, we all love Rob Gronkowski. He has adjusted very well to Florida life. He's definitely going to be a partier, but right now as it stands, he's only under a 1-year contract. He is under the remainder of what his contract was with the New England Patriots. That deal only has 1 year left on it for $10 million. Now, they could easily have a situation where they re-sign Rob Gronkowski to another 1-year deal, and then maybe they just keep on signing him to 1-year deals, him and Tom Brady, until they both decide to retire again. That could happen. Another thing that could potentially happen is Rob Gronkowski plays this whole year with Tom Brady. He's coming back, he's all bright-faced and happy. He's like, yeah, guys, I'm feeling great. And then the season ends. Now, we don't know how this season's going to end under any circumstances right now. The Buccaneers could make the playoffs, the Buccaneers could make the Super Bowl, the Buccaneers could win the Super Bowl. But the key thing I'm trying to talk about here is at the end of this upcoming season, how is Gronkowski's health going to be? Is he going to be healthy? Because Rob Gronkowski has dealt with plenty of injuries during his time with the New England Patriots. It's the reason he was forced to retire in the first place. He was just so hurt. And Rob Gronkowski does have other interests outside of the NFL. He is actually currently the 24/7 champion for the WWE. I love saying that because I'm a big fan of the WWE. But the point is that not only does Rob Gronkowski's health become a big concern after this year, but also other interests he has outside of football. These are two things that could end up having Rob Gronkowski retire again after 1 year. I don't think it's 100% guaranteed. I think more likely than anything, he's just going to sign a 1-year deal just to match it up with Tom Brady's contract and go from there. But you can never be too sure. So, this is definitely Jason Light covering his tracks and saying, hey, even if Rob Gronkowski is only here for a 1-year rental, essentially, we're still going to have O.J. Howard, we're still going to have Cam Brate, and we're still going to have Anthony Auclair, who, by the way, Bruce Arians earlier this offseason called one of the better blocking tight ends in the entire NFL and was a priority to bring back for the team. So there's a lot of hype going into this Buccaneers tight end group for this upcoming season. I could easily see them keeping 4 tight ends, and you even have Tanner Hudson and Jordan Leggett in there as well, doing some pretty good things. But the point I'm trying to make is life post-Gronk in the immediate sense. I'm talking after next year is something the Buccaneers do have to genuinely consider, and I think Jason Light covering his bases by saying, you know what, even if we lose Rob Gronkowski, we're still going to have O.J. Howard here, and that's all good. Now, the next thing I want to mention is long-term stuff after Rob Gronkowski. First things first, O.J. Howard getting a year or even potentially 2 years under Rob Gronkowski to learn from him, to be a better blocker, to have Rob Gronkowski teach him all the Gronk things, is the best teacher O.J. Howard could possibly have. Now, I don't know how Rob Gronkowski is at teaching people. He may like it, he may not like it. I have no idea. He may just want to go out there and do Gronk things and not pay attention to anybody besides Tom Brady. That could happen. But I like to think that Rob Gronkowski is going to help out O.J. Howard for the next year or even potentially 2 as much as he possibly can. Now, when the scenario happens where Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, they're eventually going to be gone in at least, I would say at most 3 years, okay, is how long they have together. Probably, at the absolute most, 3 years together. And that's if you re-sign Rob Gronkowski for 2 more years. That's if you re-sign Tom Brady for 1 more year. And you also have to think about what you want to do for O.J. Howard as well. But let's say, this all runs the 2 years. Let's say Tom Brady does retire after 2 years. Rob Gronkowski, signs for another year, and then he retires. And then O.J. Howard's contract is up after 2 years. What do you do with that? Well, I think Jason Light would be interested in signing Rob Gronkowski to a long-term deal. At that point, he'll have another 2 years under his belt, he'll have plenty more experience. He will have worked with the greatest quarterback of all time, arguably, and the greatest tight end of all time, arguably. Those are definitely some confidence boosters. So this could be Jason Light also saying, hey, after 2 seasons, O.J. Howard's confidence should be sky high, and he should be ready to be one of the best tight ends in the NFL. He didn't get all the opportunities because, Rob Gronkowski was here, but after Rob Gronkowski, OJ should be ready to take that mantle of, one of the best tight ends in the NFL. That's what I think potentially the long-term plan is. I think after 2 years, Jason Light's going to say, okay, OJ, we picked up your 5th-year option. Now let's sign you to a long-term deal. You played with the GOAT Tom Brady. You played with the GOAT Rob Gronkowski. Your confidence is amazing. You have learned so freaking much football knowledge in 2 years. Let's make you this phenomenal piece of this offense with Mike Evans and hopefully Chris Godwin. That is what I think the long-term plan is for O.J. Howard. Now, we're obviously going to have to wait and see what happens, but that's kind of my idea. So, like I said, guys, I really like this move. I think it was a very good move by Jason Light. It makes a lot of sense on a lot of levels in the short term, in terms of looking at Jason Light and his philosophy, and also looking at the long-term options for O.J. Howard as well, post-Tom Brady and post-Rob Gronkowski, because you got to think about that. Some of these guys are going to be here afterwards, after Gronk and after Tom, and, Jason Light's probably hoping that O.J. Howard's one of them. Also, Bruce Arians as well. If he retires after 2 years, maybe he won a Super Bowl or 2 with Tom Brady, with Rob Gronkowski. He said he would be pretty much done at that point. So maybe Byron Leftwich is in, and maybe Byron Leftwich wants to utilize O.J. Howard a lot more in an offense than, say, maybe Bruce Arians would. I'm not knocking Bruce Arians. I'm just saying, he doesn't necessarily utilize the tight end too much, and maybe Byron Leftwich would be a little bit different if he would be next in line to be the Bucs head coach. But guys, that is it for this video. Let me know what you think about the O.J. Howard 5th-year option move down in the comments section below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know what you think about all the things I said. I thought I had some interesting theories, some interesting ideas rumbling around in my brain, which is why I wanted to make this video, regardless of if it was 2 weeks late. Again, guys, I apologize for that, but videos will probably be coming out at a slower pace. It is what it is. But guys, I will see you in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.